Welcome everyone to today's panel, Adapt, Include, Thrive, Disability-Informed Strategies for Cloud-Native Resilience. I'm Catherine Paganini, Director of Community at Buoyant, the creator of Linkerd, and I'm also one of the co-founders of Merge Forward, which is a new CNCF initiative focused on creating a more inclusive cloud-native community. And it is home to 7 diversity groups, including the deaf and hard of hearing, blind and visually impaired, but also groups like Neurodiversity, Deep Roots, Friends of Dorothy, and a few more. Just to get started, you may have noticed that Alex is missing. So he couldn't make it due to the craziness of the airports, which is very stressful for someone who is blind. But he was able to record his answer, so I'm very glad that we'll hear from him anyways. So to get started, let's introduce please introduce yourselves and let us know what you enjoy most about being part of the Cloud Native community. And since Alex is missing, we'll start with him.
Hello, everyone. My name is Alex Stine, and I am a site reliability engineer for Waystar. I've been in technology now for about 9 years, starting out in tech support and working my way into DevOps. One thing I really enjoy about being a part of the CNCF community is the true inclusion that exists. The Blind and Visually Impaired initiative is pretty new at this point, but the very fact that we have such backing from the community to start initiatives like this really makes the community a very special place to be.
Okay, and then let's continue maybe with Travis.
Hi, so my name is Travis, and I work for Convo Communication, a level 3 engineer. I'm from Rochester, New York, home of the garbage plate. I'm part of the deaf and hard of hearing working group, and under CNCF, also I'm part of the Southern and Speech Diversity Initiative.
Hi, good morning. My name is Chris, and this is my first time attending KubeCon, and I'm the technical lead for Booz, and I focus on data AI, and I have many different clients. And what I like most about CNCF is being able to build my network from different people, from different companies, external from Booz Allen. And so that's really what excites me and what I'm here to talk about the deaf and hard of hearing. And I'm also part of the deaf and hard of hearing group and bringing best practices from other people into my workspace. Hello, my name is Milad, and I work for Epam, and I've been there for about 14 years now. I work as a lead software engineer, and I work with sign language tech as a founder for this foundation, focusing on education, video content for different deaf communities. I have a YouTube channel that you're welcome to please look. It's easy to find, talking about sign language tech. And if you type that in YouTube, you'll find it. I've been active for over 5 years on that channel. We have new team members that have joined. Andrews from Colombia has joined recently. And this is the first time I've had a team member. I'm very excited historically to expand. And I'm looking for more people to join for educational purposes. For CNCF, really looking forward to improving and reframing accessibility, plus how the deaf community is growing and learning and bridging sign language technology and bringing that into a cloud-native environment, which is very inviting and interesting, and I'm excited to have that as part of the community and having many more deaf people involved in this. It used to be a very small group. We are now expanding and growing, and this is very exciting to have more people here as part of the cloud-native community.
Okay, great. Thanks, everyone. So we asked Alex if he could name a tool, dashboard, or workflow that wasn't accessible, where he found a creative workaround, and this is what he said.
There are a lot of inaccessible tools in the DevOps space, especially in the monitoring and observability toolsets. Many popular tools such as Splunk, Datadog, Prometheus, Grafana are great when you have vision because you get real-time overviews of environments, but they really fall short for people without vision and those that use screen readers. A lot of my workarounds include using CLI tools such as kubectl and even logging in via SSH. That way I can run commands against logs, see monitoring and operating systems statistics in real time, and really get a feel for what's going on, even though I can't use the same tools that my other coworkers may be able to use. So it may take a bit longer at times to get a full picture of the events that are unfolding, but it's very doable. We just have to approach things a bit of a different way.
Okay, and now a question for you, Travis. What are your 2 top meeting rituals that have really changed outcomes for you?
Yeah, so in the past, Zoom has been difficult for us because we have to ask the meeting host to turn on captioning. But now that has changed. The app gets better. So we don't have to make that habit anymore. So the second thing is we ask the meeting participant to hide their self-view so that we can make more room in the gallery for more landscape share with the presenter and when they and interpreters. We want to see the interpreter better in the Zoom meeting, so it's more accessible to us. A third thing we will do is we start recording every meeting because that person can't take notes in a meeting. We have to keep eyes on the interpreter or the whole time. We can't just look down and take notes. It's really difficult for us to take notes. So we prefer to have the meeting recorded, so it's no question asked. We would just look back in the old recording and see what was discussed in the meeting. So, and lastly, so as for there's some not just deaf people, but it's also benefit the hearing people. We want to make things equitable for let's say people they're very introvert. You know what I mean? A lot of software developers they don't really feel comfortable speaking up. So we have this tool. We encourage people to raise hands. So you click on you make a habit. So you click on the tool. So you raise your hand. And so give the person a chance to speak. You know, instead of try to overlap other person's voice. So it's a good meeting visual. So we encourage. That's back to you, Catherine.
Okay. Great. Now let's talk about the hot topic at the conference for a few years already, AI. How is AI changing accessibility and resilience in engineering? And what are the new ethical and privacy risks that come with it? Chris.
Thank you, Catherine. I know a lot of people know that AI is changing so fast, the technology for AI. There are so many capabilities of things that are changing on a monthly basis. Every couple of months it's changed. What tool you might use is different in a couple of months. And as Travis has mentioned, you go to a meeting, you read the captioning, maybe you have an interpreter, or when the meeting is over, I'm still looking at the screen trying to write down, make documentations of everything that's happened. And there's a lot of mental fatigue because I'm stuck staring at the screen at all time. And a lot of people don't realize that for a deaf and hard of hearing person, it's very difficult as a professional to constantly have to stare at the screen. So there's a company that I'm sure you've heard of, Meta. They own Facebook, Instagram, some of those other companies. They've recently created a new product. They've partnered with Ray-Ban glasses, and they have the AI-powered glasses that has native captioning in it. I'm not sure if you're aware of it. Raise your hand if you've heard about these native captioning glasses from Ray-Ban. Oh, I see a few hands raised. So I think that that's a wonderful tool to be able to have those glasses that I can just walk around and I can hear what's happening. If I want to go get coffee, the captioning is still happening for me to know what's going on in a meeting. You know, so like an interpreter says they can join a meeting by listening in the car, by still joining by listening, or they can go out for a walk and still join a meeting. I can't do that. I have to be in front of a screen. But with these glasses, it gives me that ability to still be a part of something and read the captions. I mean, if I need to go to the restroom, I can still do that. However, my company has said there's some ethical risks of that because they don't know what's happening with the data that's coming from these captioning of these glasses. Where is it going in the cloud? Who is controlling it? And we don't know what's happening to the privacy of this. And they've told me that I can't use it as of yet. And so, because we don't have the idea of the specific information and clients are giving me restrictions of using it. Often companies are producing things and sending it out because they want to hurry up and get it out there to meet the demand of AI. But then accessibility and security is an afterthought. So now we have to wait until all of that is taken care of before I can actually use something like this for me. So it's a great feature, but it's not functional yet. So having some sort of local control where we can control where the data is going, where the AI is going, and who can control the security and privacy. That's what I'd like to see happen in the future as partnering with different companies to be able to use it. I know it's not there yet, but that would be my goal.
Yeah, great. Okay, great. No, yeah, great. Yeah, those technologies are also very new, right? So I think like as more people are actually using it for something really important, like accessibility, not just for fun, right? I think these issues are going to be raised. So I'm really hoping that these companies are taking this very seriously and addressing it. So I'm hopeful that soon we will have these glasses and everything where you have the privacy really taken care of. Okay, so Alex also had some interesting perspectives, so let's hear from him. Oh. Why is this?
AI is dramatically changing the landscape of accessibility and engineering. It is allowing people to move much faster for developing features and also making updates where they matter. For example, if I am working a Jira ticket and someone uploads a screenshot to show me an error, all I have to do is download that screenshot and use our internally approved AI tools to have the screenshot transcribed to me in an accessible format. So we don't actually have these gaps anymore where we're worrying about, okay, now I have to go back to the reporter and ask them to word for word describe for me what is in the screenshot. So AI is changing the game and inclusion big time with that. And it's also helped me rewrite some legacy code. Of course, it's always going to require a person to check the output and make sure that it's working the way we intended to work, but AI is really promising, and I think it's going to deliver a lot of great things. As far as privacy goes, that's a big problem I think all of us have to eventually deal with, because this, some of this information is internal. It's private. We have to be very careful with where it is placed, how it is shared, and at the end of the day, sometimes slowing down a little bit to figure out the security side is not only required in some cases, but the responsible thing to do. We are stewards of data, so we must be careful with how that data is used, especially within certain regulated industries.
Okay, now can you share an example where adapting to your deafness led to a better or more efficient outcome for your team, Travis?
Okay, all right. That's a great question. It's actually a perfect question for the industry that I work in. Yes, the Chambers Plus. So in the POS industry, what a video related service is that it's a translation service for the deaf and hard of hearing. So the hearing person talks to the deaf person through an interpreter. The interpreter is seeing the video, they sign into the video to the deaf person, so the deaf person understand what the hearing person is saying. So anyway, so well, I'm trying to say that we have a selling point because we have to say, let me go back. So yeah, sorry. Let me think for a moment. So at in the field of late service, we had advantages because, oh yes, I was speaking for my company, Convo. We had advantages because we came in late in the industry, and the first bureau's providers is it's like they're funded by hearing people with a hearing mindset, but my company is founded by deaf people. It's like that deaf leader. It's like they know how to design the app from a deaf perspective. So that's so one of the selling points is that they cater to deaf people, which means they make sure that that person benefit from the call, like so that person they okay, the interpreter typically they announce the call, like and the interpreter announced the call with the other bureau provider that's immersion industry and so that person feel like they don't have a control over the call, they feel uncomfortable. But with Convo, we say that interpreters do not, and now they don't self-identify. Hi, my name is, they don't say hi, interpreter ID, never, and they don't identify themselves. So we give that person the control over the cause. So.
Yeah, and
Could I add?
sure.
When you're working with an interpreter and you have an interpreter placed between the hearing and the deaf person, often what happens is the hearing person who doesn't have experience working with an interpreter will speak to the interpreter rather than directly to me. And we're constantly having to ask people to please speak directly to us, not to the interpreter. The interpreter is relaying the information, certainly, but we want them to speak directly to us, not to the interpreter. And often, we have to make sure the interpreter is following. And so I will look at the interpreter, of course, because I'm trying to get the message from the interpreter, but I have to keep trying to look between the interpreter and the hearing person to make them feel that I have some eye contact with them as well. And one way we solve this problem is we say for the interpreter to be separated in some way and not included in the whole meeting or any kind of interaction. They're sort of a separate entity, and they're not really, quote unquote, a part of the meeting. So they're more of a communication tool to be used to speak directly to the deaf people. And it's kind of a different perspective for folks. And it's a real benefit to have that kind of communication, of course, but speaking directly to the deaf person in a first person way rather than through the interpreter saying things like tell him or tell her.
Thank you.
Yeah, because I always say the deaf person is speaking and the interpreter is voicing, right? So that's the difference. So you're talking with the person who is speaking, and they're just assisting and helping. Not just, because it's an amazing job. We love our interpreters. Okay, let's move to a different topic, and async communication, which is very prevalent in today's online world. So what are the most common async communications failures that you see? And what is one simple actionable change that improves team efficiency for everyone, not just deaf and hard of hearing? Do you want to?
Yes, I'll take that one. Great question, Catherine. In my experience, For example, several months ago in my company where I work, we were all working on a project. And it was a team of hearing people, and I'm the only deaf person there, of course. And I was involved in this team project. And we were setting up, all of the assistive communication devices, all getting everything ready to help me participate fully. And I was responsible for leading this team. So I had to not only do the technical meetings, but make sure all the communication was in place. And the team was like, oh my gosh, this was amazing. It was so helpful. It was so fantastic. And the follow-up and the action and the information, everything was conveyed well. And I felt that I hadn't missed anything. And that was wonderful. And, it was a benefit for them as well to have me be able to participate fully. And what I learned is that meetings, it's important for every single person to be able to participate, whether we have captions or an interpreter, for deaf people to be fully able to participate. It's also for the hearing people. It's not just for the deaf person. So to set up a way to document rules, decisions, actions, outcomes, anything that we do, any commitments that we make, any decisions that are enacted, that we have, everybody gets that information in writing within a 24-hour window as well. And we found that to be very effective. And we don't want the information to be old by the time it's disseminated. So it's very important that that happen as well. And write it down and reduce the silos that we're experiencing in our workplaces with those sorts of procedures in place. And you don't have to worry about making sure that you know the right person to ask that way. You can just look at the documentation, of course, and if it's in a central repository, even better. So we're trying to make it to where, when I worked with all those hearing people on that project, it was not just a benefit for me, it was a benefit for them as well, we all found. So having that open communication to bridge between both worlds is just an awesome component of this.
I think what you said is wonderful. So I know often in the tech field, there's so many virtual meetings. I mean, I work from home now. I have almost for 10 years. When I go into the office, it's definitely async for me. But anyways, but I go into the office, if things in virtual are very fast-paced, everybody's talking over one another, they're using technological terms or words that are really complicated, and interpreters in general don't have a standardized sign for certain terminologies, and they just fingerspell the words that they don't know. And by the time they fingerspelled that word, you're about 5 or 10 words, the hearing people are about 5 or 10 words ahead, and the context has changed. And therefore, that's really difficult for deaf people in the tech field trying to keep up. So a few years ago, we had asked a team of us to capture items that were used often, put it down in an email or in meeting minutes, that we realized, wait, this isn't really working. We needed to find this email. We couldn't figure out where this documentation was. We had some sort of a recording system in a repository, but it didn't work right. So we decided to set up a JIRA ticket. I know many of you here are tech people. You know what JIRA is. You know what the tool of it. But it really helped us to figure out how those user stories and assignments worked for that backlog to help us, not just for myself, but honestly, for my whole team. I was in a federal restricted area where there isn't a lot of resources that are available to us there. And Copilot, which is a wonderful technology, and of course it's available to many people and many end users, but in our restricted area, Copilot is not allowed to us and our team members. I know that some people have the latest version of Copilot where you can run a meeting, you can walk away, you can come back, and if you've missed 5 minutes because you went to get coffee, you can see what had been discussed in the last 5 minutes. Unfortunately, in the areas that I work in, we're not allowed to have it. You have to just sit and watch the meeting, and if you walk away, then you miss it. And so that's something to keep in mind with the tech world. I think that the the translation or reviewing things in an AI perspective is really difficult for us because, even with an interpreter or with captioning, we tell an interpreter, take some training or learn this technology, and the interpreters are willing to do it, but in 6 months it's irrelevant and we have to do it again. An interpreter might come and understand what's being discussed right then and there, but they're not keeping up with things and they don't know, so when they come back. So it's really relevant to have access to the communication that's happening. So something like Jira or other types of tools that are used on a regular basis are vital for us to keep up with what's happening.
Yes, and I'd like to add one more thing. It doesn't matter what company you work on or what project you're assigned to. If you're a hearing person, you certainly can use that assistive communication as well. Asynchronous communication as well. We all do it. It's possible, like I'm thinking of the deaf access into a hearing team. We were talking about that. People may not know anything about how the communication lag through an interpreter works or through captioning. And you can also set up something where the deaf person feels more welcomed in. And that's very helpful for the deaf team member to feel like they're a full participant and that there aren't any barriers involved as well. And of course, we're all still learning, but it's something else.
Yeah, we need to wrap up. So, we have 2-3 minutes. So, last question to everyone. Can you share an action item that everyone here in the audience can take away and implement maybe next week that will make their teams or product more inclusive? And we're going to start with Alex.
For me, one of the biggest things teams can do to become more inclusive is to simply keep an open mind and listen. A lot of the problems in today's world would be less of problems if people simply listened. It's not about always getting it right. It's about traveling that path to create more inclusive teams. And the first step to doing that is to listening to other people's needs. One can't assume what those needs are, and one shouldn't assume shortcomings either. Just listen to your team members. We will communicate what we need and what we could have to be more successful. So I believe if you're willing to meet your employees halfway, that's half the battle right there.
Oops. Sorry. Oh, no, I'm going to leave it here. Okay, Travis.
I would just say, the hearing colleague that wanted to help the deaf blind person, just please ask. Just ask. They may not feel comfortable, so just ask. You're helping them by asking what you want, think they want. So that's my advice.
I know we have other sessions, technical sessions. I appreciate everybody being here, especially understanding wanting to come for change. I know we don't have a lot of people here, but I do appreciate those that are here to bring this back to your workplace when you go back. Understanding people with disabilities have different philosophies and figuring out what kind of things you can do, asking them what the accommodations it is. Because if you don't meet where the person is, they're not going to feel comfortable. They're not going to feel confident. And if they don't feel comfortable and confident, they're going to leave and they're going to feel as though it's their failure. You need to accommodate the person where they are and ask them. So thank you for coming and asking us what we want.
Also documenting context for all asynchronous messages, and then making sure that you document it within 24 hours in a central repository, and making sure that all onboarding documentation in multiple formats is present as well.
Okay, great. And that concludes our session today. We don't really have time for questions, but the team will be around. So if anyone wants to have a question, just come here. And thank you so much for coming. Again, like as Chris said, it's really important that people come and listen. Thank you. Oh, and and this is Merge Forward. We're looking, like if you want to be an ally or have part of one of our community, please join. We have a channel and we have a community page. Thank you so much.